Ah, here's Javier again. Remember him? The guy who mastered compliments and nodding at the right moments. But today, folks, we're diving into Chapter 5 of How to Win Friends and Influence People. The real test begins now. Chapter 5. The Secret of Socrates. Javier's got an issue. His colleague isn't exactly on board with the new direction of things. Enter the Socratic method. No, not the kind where you bombard people with questions until they get confused. The real secret here is to get people saying yes early and often. Carnegie tells us, the key to winning people to your way of thinking is to start with questions they will obviously agree with. Javier knows the game. He starts with some easy wins. Do you think we need to improve efficiency? Yes. Would it be great if we finished on time? Yes. Before long, his colleague's nodding along like a dashboard bobblehead. Carnegie strikes again. Chapter 6. If you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. But of course, Javier isn't perfect. He makes mistakes just like the rest of us, and Carnegie's got a solution for that too. Chapter 6 says, if you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Admitting you messed up. Bold move. But Javier knows better. He walks in, hands up, and says, you know what? I dropped the ball on this one. My bad. And guess what? The tension melts. Turns out admitting you're wrong doesn't make you weaker. It makes you human. And people like humans. Chapter 7. A smile costs nothing but creates much. Now this one sounds so simple you'd think it's obvious. But Carnegie knew better. Chapter 7 tells us that a smile costs nothing but creates much. Yeah, we've all heard it. But how many of us actually remember to use it? Javier, however, does. Turns out Carnegie was right, again. Javier's smile is like a social cheat code. People respond to warmth, even in the middle of a busy, stressful day. So simple, so effective. Chapter 8. If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. And then there's criticism. We've all been there. But Chapter 8 lays down some truth. If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. In other words, if you want people on your side, maybe don't blast them with harsh words. Javier's learned this lesson well. So when Javier's hit with less than glowing feedback, he doesn't bite back. No kicking beehives today. He listens, takes it in, and, you guessed it, stays calm. No drama, just growth. As Carnegie would say, you can't win an argument. So why start one? Chapter 9. Let the other person feel the idea is theirs. Now here's where Javier gets a bit sneaky, in the best way, of course. In Chapter 9, Carnegie reveals one of his most powerful strategies. Let the other person feel the idea is theirs. And no, this isn't manipulation. It's just smart. Javier doesn't bulldoze the conversation with his ideas. Oh no. Instead, he listens, asks the right questions, and makes sure his colleague thinks they came up with the perfect solution. And guess what? The colleague leaves the meeting feeling like a genius. Javier, meanwhile, walks out with exactly the outcome he wanted. Well played. Look at him now. Not only has Javier learned to handle conflict, but he's also mastered the art of making everyone around him feel important and clever. Stick around for part 4, where Javier takes on his biggest challenge yet, inspiring others to follow his lead. And let me tell you, folks, it's not going to be easy. Enjoyed this? Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss part 4, where Javier faces the ultimate test of leadership. In part 4, we'll cover Chapter 10, the safety valve in handling complaints. How Javier handles complaints without letting things boil over. Chapter 11, how to keep a disagreement from becoming an argument. Javier learns how to cool down heated debates at work. Chapter 12, a sure way of making enemies and how to avoid it. We'll see how Javier navigates tricky office politics without burning bridges.